Hey guys, what's up? Emo Cat Dad here, hanging out with you, bringing you yet another edition of Emo Cat Dad Listens. If you're new here, then what I do is every day of 2024, I vow to check out a new band or artist. Check out 4 songs from across their discography, give you my initial thoughts on the songs, rank the songs, and then of course give you my overall thoughts on the artist based on what I just heard. As you can see right there, today's artist slash band, in this case, is Chase Atlantic. So what do I know about Chase Atlantic going into this? I know they're an Australian trio. They're pretty genre fluid, playing in the pop and rock and hip hop worlds, kind of melding it all together. The reason I haven't listened to Chase Atlantic before this was basically I had heard people talk about the band glorifying drug use, which is a soft spot for me personally. I've lost family members to drug and alcohol addiction, so I don't tend to like to consume that kind of content. So that's why I've mostly stayed away, not wanting to have any trauma flare-ups. But this was suggested, and I figured I shouldn't just take random people at their word. I should probably dive into this band and find out for myself. So that's what I'm doing today. And nicely enough, Chase Atlantic has 3 full-length albums released, so I can check out a song from each of those. And earlier this year, they released a new single, so I'm going to jump into that as well in a little bit. But first, let's start with their first album, which was self-titled back in 2017. I checked out the song Swim. Okay, so happy to report on this song. There's just kind of one throwaway drug line, and it seemed to be more so that the person was using in that line to numb the pain. So I can be on board with that. I know sometimes people have to. I was able to work my way through that okay. As far as the rest of the lyrics go, though, they did repeat quite a bit, which if you guys watched these before, not a fan of repetition in songs, and there's a lot, to be honest, on this track. However, I did like the use of some of the metaphors they used in the lyrics, and the overall message, as I got from it anyways, was about someone helping you through your problems and just wanting to be around that person more so that you don't feel it in your head about your problems. I'm on board with. Alright, in 2019, Chase Atlantic followed up their successful self-titled debut album with the album Phases, and I checked out Heaven and Back from that album. Alright, so musically, this song is much more my speed. The last track was more leaning on the hip-hop side. This one was straight up more pop-based, and despite being an emo cat dad, I love me some pop sensibility. This one has much more drug references. I would say it's probably still in the same line as the previous song, where it seems like they're using it to get away from darkness. So I can kind of deal with it a little more. However, the visuals that this paints in my head was more difficult to deal with. But hey, there was a saxophone in the latter half of the song, and I really enjoyed that portion of it. So anytime you add a saxophone, gets a big thumbs up from me. Alright, and most recently, Chase Atlantic released an album in 2021 called Beauty and Death, but I'm actually not listening to anything from that. Going to the deluxe version of the album, which was released the following year, to listen to Oh Mommy, which is the most streamed out of any of those tracks. I got blue money. Okay, so this is the horniest song that I've listened to since I did the Deftones video a month ago. Fitting that it's day 69 and I decided to Chase Atlantic, so that worked out. Unfortunately, on this song, especially at the very beginning, there is the glorification of drug use in my mind. It's not to numb the pain. This is basically a party song. It's not, oh, I got all these problems, I got to take this to get through the day. It's, oh, let's go have some fun and do all this. It's, it didn't sit well with me, I guess. Alright, so let's move along to the newest single, Mamacita. I don't love her, but I So I really enjoyed the Spanish flair on this track, as well as on the last one, Oh Mommy, in the musicality and in the lyric delivery. This one, similar to Swim, has kind of one throwaway line. I didn't get that it was to deal with any issues, although the band did go ahead and list throughout the song all the things this woman is, and some of them weren't so well adjusted, so maybe there's some underlying themes, but it just sounds like she wants to party all night. But at least it was just one line. All right, so those were the 4 Chase Atlantic tracks I listened to. Let's rank these songs. At number 1, despite the vivid visuals it gave me of drug use, I think I'm going to go Heaven and Back. I just really enjoyed it musically a lot, and I can at least get past that it seems to be being used to numb the pain, so I can be more supportive of that situation. At number 2, we're going Swim. Lyrically, I really enjoyed a lot of the background to the song, and musically had a nice hip-hop kind of styling to it, but the repetition took me out of it at points, so if there was no repetition, this could have easily challenged for number 1. At 3, Mamacita. I really dug it overall lyrically. I was a little disappointed once I got to that one line that spoke of drug use. That just seems to be in Chase Atlantic's wheelhouse, so I'm just assuming that style's not going to go away. And hey, lots of people seem to dig it, given they have 13 million monthly listeners, and this track's already at 13 million listens. And at 4, Oh Mommy. I really dug the Spanish flair to the song, but starting off the song with all the drug references just basically took me out of it and made me want the song to be over at that point so I can move on and hope for better things from the next song, because the 2 before it I really enjoyed in parts. Alright, so that was the ranking. My overall thoughts on Chase Atlantic are I really enjoy what they do musically a lot of the time. They add a lot of cool elements in. There was even some samplings in some of the songs where, like in Mamacita, for example, they talk about the cops haven't found her, and then there's a little sample of sirens. I really dug all those little touches that they did. Really dug the sax in the one song. They should use that more, or not bury it so much if they do use it. But at the end of the day, for my own mental health, I don't think I can dig much more into Chase Atlantic because of the lyrics about drug use. Alright guys, that does it. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Like I said earlier, Chase Atlantic was a suggestion. Please hit the comments below. Give me more suggestions of bands or artists I can check out. There's a big backlog as well, so make sure you go back and check those out. Let me know in the comments what you think of Chase Atlantic. Are they more your speed? Because, you don't have the trauma related to drug use like I do. Or maybe you did and Chase Atlantic helped pull you out of it. Let me know in the comments. Be a part of the conversation. But most importantly, I hope you stick around for future videos where hopefully I'll get to some of your suggestions that you left in the comments on this video. And the best way to stick around is simply cut my wrists and hit subscribe. I'm your friendly neighborhood Emo Cat Dad signing off. Until next time, I want to hear you sad.